a beautiful bride shot herself at her wedding ceremony. But when night fell, she came back to life and shot her husband. A dead person actually shot and killed a living person. This bizarre case quickly caught the attention of the great detective Sherlock Holmes. After hearing the inspector's description, Sherlock was unusually excited. He hadn't encountered such an interesting case in a long time. Without hesitation, he and Watson immediately rushed to the bride's morgue. The corpse was now bound with iron chains. The reason for this precaution was actually to prevent the body from killing again. Recently, every night, people in the town had been dying at the bride's gunpoint. Though they didn't know how the woman came back to life, to prevent more murders, the police chief had no choice but to chain up the corpse. However, Sherlock thought this was absurd. Corpse cannot come back to life. This was all just the killer's disguise. To unveil the true identity of the murderer, he took Watson to re-examine the crime scene, but found nothing. Everything looked like a suicide. Watson speculated it might be twins at work, one committing suicide in front of everyone, while the other pretended to be the resurrected corpse at night. Watson's theory made sense, but after Sherlock investigated the woman, he found she had no twin sister. So how did she manage to die and then come back to life? After careful consideration, Sherlock quickly developed a theory. First, there was only one killer. On her wedding anniversary, she fired at passers-by. While everyone was fleeing in panic, she put the gun in her mouth and fired. But the gunshot people heard was actually from another gun firing downward. Her accomplices, prepared in advance, sprayed blood on the curtains behind her to create the illusion of suicide. Thus, all the panicked victims became witnesses to her death. When night fell, she switched places with a real corpse, allowing her to logically shoot her husband. Sherlock's deduction was brilliant, but if things really happened this way, how could they explain the corpse now lying here? The only possibility was that the bride committed suicide again after completing the murder. This would create a perfect loop, making everyone believe the corpse had come back to life to kill. They just needed the coroner to determine the time of death, and the truth of this case would be revealed. But was this really the truth? This fascinating film is called The Abominable Bride,